Welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel, everyone. This is Rich making another video on XRP today, as usual. So wherever you are in this vast planet, I hope you're all having a nice day today. We are going to discuss XRP. A couple other things that are happening will also be discussed. And I started with this from Cointelegraph. Bo Hein, executive director of digital assets, stated that the U.S. gold. I am aware that none of these options for gaining more Bitcoin have been agreed upon, but there are a number of ones that seem very clear to me. However, I believe that people would significantly underestimate potentially innovative concepts. Are there any recurring themes among the ideas you have been considering as a group? One thing, is to take American taxpayer monies that are already on our balance sheet or somewhere in the US government and sort of reorganize them. Financial experts will constantly go and rebalance their portfolio. That's a sort of overarching theme. However, I've also heard Nick and others discuss the possibility that we could generate and utilize outside income. From a framework perspective, how are you guys doing? What are some ways that we may go ahead and purchase more? With the Bitcoin Act of 2025, which I know has swept the community by storm, I believe Senator Lemmas has a truly intriguing concept. However, in this case, you would revalue the gold certificates that Treasury now has. I believe the majority of them are priced at about $43 per ounce, which is far less than their true value. That's right. Indeed. And the price of gold is currently at what? $3,100 per ounce. You could spend that additional money to purchase more Bitcoin that could be used as the reserve if you stole that value. That's only one idea, though. Additionally, it is now making the rounds on Capitol Hill. We will see how many co-sponsors she can secure and how she can convince her colleagues to support it. However, we're considering a variety of innovative approaches, whether they stem from tariffs or something else entirely. I mean, there are practically innumerable options. I didn't think the tariff money was for Bitcoin purchases, but rather for abolishing the IRS. And you pay attention how all these government employees suddenly believe they are the hip new kid who just showed up talking about cryptocurrency, as if it were novel. Furthermore, why in the world is it necessary for the US government to own Bitcoin? Oh, to settle some of the debt. Let's put it away for 20 years. By the time we reach that point in 20 years, Bitcoin will probably be completely obsolete. If it's worth $1,000 by then, you're lucky. Why don't they discuss how XRP or anything similar may be used to bolster the US dollar? These government officials should just quit discussing cryptocurrency, According to Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, the Trump administration is thinking about replacing Fed Chair Powell and will start conducting interviews with applicants this autumn. Once more, I believe that we were also terminating the Fed. What became of that story? Powell's term expires in 26 days. However, I believe that we would have a way to shut down the Fed by then. All I want to see is the Fed or the IRS being shut down. I would be content to finish both, whichever way. That would be simply amazing. The best thing that could ever happen would be that, as I mentioned earlier, tariffs are no longer a significant determinant of the market. For example, cryptocurrency would instantly plunge once the word tariff was even mentioned. However, it now appears to be demonstrating strength in opposition to the tariff discussion. Hopefully, that will last. However, smoke is the source of this. The least amount of correlation is shown between XRP and other cryptocurrencies such as Ethereum and Bitcoin. Unlike Bitcoin and Ethereum, which exhibit signs of a value bubble, XRP is driven by its better technology rather than speculative excitement. XRP is a symbol for undervalued. It is known that Bitcoin and Ethereum are overpriced. They have previously examined this and taken the time to record that this is taking place. Why aren't regular investors able to accept that XRP will eventually separate from Bitcoin and stop following it altogether? It will take place. coupling will occur. Many people in this industry will be shocked to learn that XRP has a real use case and utility. In 2025, XRP will overtake Ethereum as the most popular altcoin, and this is confirmed once more. In 2025, Ethereum will face its first significant challenge to its 10-year domination in the altcoin industry. When XRP eventually reclaims the number 2 position, I even predicted that it would be a permanent takeover. After that, it will aim for the top slot. Additionally, XRP has a high potential of being the most popular cryptocurrency, depending on how alt season plays out. This is the result of investing your hard-earned cash on a coin that has no practical application and being duped. According to Brad Garlinghouse, 99% of cryptocurrency will crash. This is the mantra. This is the topic of conversation right now, OM. According to them, it was a huge rug pull. However, here's what the group had to say. We would want to reassure you that mantra is a solid foundation. Reckless liquid liquidations, unrelated to the project, were the cause of today's activities. We want to be clear about one thing. We weren't on this team. We are investigating the matter and will provide additional information as soon as possible. They're already claiming that this circumstance is comparable to a Luna scenario. Brad did, however, state that 99% of cryptocurrency will die. Listen to it. I've previously stated in public that I believe 99% of all cryptocurrency will likely go to zero. However, there is that 1% that, in my opinion, is committed to finding a real solution for actual clients and is capable of doing it on a large scale. And that will change the game. And in my opinion, that will continue to increase dramatically over the ensuing decades. Consider Brad's statement that he was drawing a comparison between the cryptocurrency field and the dot-com boom, which also produced a few winners. They grew into enormous corporations. The crypto industry will experience the same issue. However, I believe that many of these cryptocurrency initiatives are currently available. They are just hype, but they are presenting themselves as genuine issue solvers. Additionally, I am asked to discuss this project and that project on a daily basis. Furthermore, 99% of these projects are not in any manner ISO compliant, not even the network or the organization that is responsible for it. I then look beyond that, and it's always connected to tokenization of real-world assets. As an example, I've already discussed a project that is connected to the tokenization of real-world assets, the XRP ledger. When you look past the XRP ledger, you see Hedera, XDC, and Stellar. I mean, there are a lot of fantastic initiatives that will probably fail when 99% of cryptocurrency is devalued. However, they are quite rare. There are many enterprises that appear to have a lot of promise, but ultimately fail. Mantra wasn't one of them, mind you. I still believe I never mentioned it. I gave it a glance once. I simply didn't like it. Really large update. NVIDIA declared that it will be producing its AI supercomputers in the US for the first time. Up to $500 billion worth of AI infrastructure will result from this investment. Arizona is where NVIDIA Blackwell chip manufacturing begins. The first NVIDIA factory are opened in the US. CE